So my name is Amit, and I am from MetaPercept, a company based in India, which has been offering data XML solutions and services almost for 14 years now. And today I am going to talk about AI part with the DITA-OT. Obviously we did not have any past sessions on AI, so this is the first one. And after that, we'll have some more AI sessions. So how many of you are technical writers here? All right. And obviously everyone is working in data. Most of you, hopefully. So have you come across any AI projects so far? All right. So I would like to hear one or two answers, like how are you dealing with that? Like, is it the chatbot development you're working on? Or is it the authoring side of AI that you're working on? Yep. Yes, Elliot.
Yeah, so one of the things that we're doing is we're automatically generating basically health topics from our topic source using AI summarization.
All right.
So if there's like a product UI page for which there's no authored health topic, they'll find the best docs page for that, and then we have a process that will summarize that into a help chunk, basically a help topic for that.
All right. So this is one of the use cases we have come across. I think almost everyone is having the same scenario in their organization. So just about me, I've already spoken about me, so you can go through it later on also. All right. So this entire session will be talking about, as a technical writer, how we can leverage DITA Open Toolkit, and what are these important things in the DITA-OT that we need to consider while working as a tech writer. Because now, as a tech writer, the end user is AI. This is what I have understood so far, because the retrieval is happening through the chatbot, and user does not have to keep on asking questions. However, there are few cases we have come across where I see that people have been working with data, but then they are not able to implement intent-based content. And there I see we get hallucinated answers. So how DITA Open Toolkit tackles that, and what are the important aspects we'll be covering. So first thing is why DITA-OT matters in AI-driven content. So we all know that LLMs are there, so there is unstructured data and then there is structured data, so much difference in both the aspects. So why DITA Open Toolkit? Because it is semantic based, and we have all these semantics available in data for specific purposes. So for example, we can consider these steps, where if we relate it to a normal, from the normal language perspective, it is you are doing, let's say, how-tos. So all the how-tos are based on your steps and procedures. So when you start defining any how-to, you generally have the steps in that. So steps become very important, task topics and all that. So we have built a model which is where we have scored all these data elements, and out of all the data elements we have identified 109 elements that has a specific scores for specific purposes. So priority 1, priority 2, and that ways we have defined them. So all the task topics always goes to the priority 1, and then you have all these admonitions like warning, important, all these things go as priority 2. And then later on we have defined other syntaxes also. So we have, and on the basis of these tags, we have defined our own model. Now when the query goes to this model, it checks all these available tags and it gets the correct answers. Then I'll be talking about some of the DITA-OT plugins that we can leverage for AI, and let's move to the next one. So this is why DITA. we always talk about data. So I've been working in data for almost 15 years, and this is where I see that DITA-OT only falls in all the checklist we have. And if we talk about Markdown, you'll see there's no modularity in Markdown. Although it is like you have so many topics, but then all these topics do not relate to each other unless we have a mapping done internally. And that is something which is a manual work, whereas in data, we have these conrefs, keyrefs, keyscope, and today when Elliot was talking about the keyscope, I figured out, okay, this is again one of the important aspects we should consider for AI, because building an index on the keyscopes can speed up the entire retrieval process. And then we have docbook, so it is one of the formats, and then JSON. Although whatever data we work in data finally gets converted to JSON, but then that JSON has a really good structure if it is coming from data, because you have got all the vital elements defined, and all the objects that are created in the JSON structure has all the checkpoints, which is going to make your content more context rich. And this is an interactive session, so if you have a question, please feel free to ask. Okay. Then why DITA-OT matters in AI-driven content. So better AI content structuring, and then more accurate information retrieval, and hallucination-free AI responses. I hope my demo should work today. Last year it did not work, so I would like to show something to you. And then this is just a typical roadmap for implementing DITA-OT and AI enablement. So we start with the data content. This is where we pre-process with all the tags. We create indexes, and then we build our LLMs. So during this process, all the output generation is happening. So HTML has all those tags that are needed. And from the HTML, then our LLM has all these logics extracted to the custom JSON format. And then we have the content selection for AI. So when the retrieval happens, it understands the intent of the user, that what the user is trying to ask. So a very basic example, if I have to say, let's say there is a printer company and they have a support site. So printer company can have hundreds of models, print models, right? But then all of these models may have a common issue or a common query from the end user's perspective, that is how to load papers. So this is something very exclusive to all the models. And then the steps can be same for all the models, except a few. So consider this scenario that the user asks how to load paper, and that's it. So now the previous, the HTML output that we had, or the web help we had, in that what we were doing, when we typed how to load papers, it would fetch all possible answers. And you do not know which one to go through. So now our AI model, the chatbot, actually comprehends everything and provides you a proper response. And if you have a more filtered question that I am looking for how to load papers for a specific model, and when you provide that model information, then you get exact answers, exact answer for that model. So this is a typical roadmap, and then there are a couple of DITA-OT libraries and plugins that we have leveraged. So one is the ORG DITA-DOST, and then there is a data parser. So the core processing engine is actually the DOST area, and then we have used the parsing files for extracting data using this data parser library. And then there are certain plugins also that we have used, and these are the recommended plugins out of although there are many more, but then there are for specific purposes. So this one which we have used is for converting all the data content to JSON format, so that it captures all the tags and enables your content with more AI centric information. Then we have the RDF output, which is where your all the semantic application, web application comes into picture. And then we have custom metadata plugin. So there are custom metadata plugin that we have built in our system, which fetches all these information, like you have author name, and then you have keywords, index term. So these are a couple of just like categories. So you can use these metadata in your DITA files and leverage them for AI purposes. And obviously there are more, but I have kept some of them which are important from retrieval perspective. So the next one. So what are the essential DITA-OT plugins for AI enablement content transformation? So if we are working with the PDFs, so we have the PDF2, which obviously most of us are using. And then we have HTML5, Markdown, and JSON plugins. So these are important ones which we have leveraged for transformation of files. And then, if I'm going fast, just please let me know. Okay. And then final thoughts. So my presentation is small. It's not so elaborative because if I go too deep, then it will be a lengthy one. And obviously we have Radu and other people covering next sessions on AI. So final thoughts, like we have retrieve structured content faster via modern data topics. So modular data topics, and then using AI enabled content, we can avoid hallucinated retrieval of information. And then we have improved AI-driven search, and then we have generate intelligent responses. So I'll just show you a small demo. Hopefully it should work. Let's see, because on Thursday it was not working. Give me a second. All right. So this is a small chatbot that we have built as a prototype. And there is one simple project, sample project here, which is this one. So we go to the, and here if I say, let's say, how to load papers, or something like how to reset printer. So hopefully it should work. Keeping my fingers crossed. Okay, it is saying, I'm sorry, but I need more details. So because it doesn't have this large language model in our current system, so what we do is this particular file, which is the only HTML output right now available. So it's about adding a new project, and then we have data governance and all that related stuff. So my model will not be just looking into the OpenAI LLM, and it will be more focused towards the LLM that we have built. And when I ask the query, then it is going to ask what is governance? So now it will look for answer in this particular, you can see this one. So it is not asking the end user to go to all those files and read through those files, but it is finding all the related information and then populating the related links as well. So if I go here, and it can take me to that particular page where I can find the related information. So this is the third project we are working on, the AI project. 2 projects we have successfully delivered. And if anything related to AI implementation you need to know in DITA, then please feel free to connect with me. So that's it from my side. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask.
Time for questions now?
Yes?
I read something recently. Hi, I read something recently, and I haven't seen anything about it since, but an emerging standard for something like LLM doc, or some sort of standard for optimal sort of LLM ingestion. Have you heard of an emerging standard to be able to convert and transform our content in for better LLM ingestion?
Yeah, so currently we are working on that side. So we do not have a specific open source kind of system available. So we have built our own ingestion system,
Okay.
which is going to, when you publish your HTML from the data source, and then we have a deploy function that goes to that particular model, and it ingests the new set. So every time there is a new set getting ingested, so the system I'm showing you right now, I'll be demonstrating this tomorrow also, and I'll have, there is an exhibition counter where I'm going to showcase, like right now I have just one output for one of the documents, but parallelly I can run multiple outputs one after the other, and my LLM kind of gets trained on it automatically. So there is a system built in the ingestion process where it keeps on extracting and keeps on training itself. And this is what we are working on right now. So the deploy function overall will be more simplified, because one after the other, when you are publishing your documents, your LLM is getting trained on that, and it is able to retrieve the right information. Yes?
Rob, I think you may be thinking of the LLM's text proposal.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, there's a proposal out there for a sort of plain text format that lives at the root level of a website, kind of like the robots.txt file or something like that, or sitemap.xml, that would make it easier for AI or for LLMs to basically ingest the content and understand what information is available, where to find more information. So it doesn't need to be like all one file, but it's basically a file that provides pointers to where more information would be. So that's an output format. And there might be a way of supporting that, but I don't know how much traction it's going to get. But there's apparently a proposal in the world to standardize. To make it. Yes.
So on
Issue number 4578 in the Open Toolkit issues tracker.
So it is actually on context to that only. So we are continuously building the indexing system based on the publishing that is happening. So you have a index getting created and getting added to the master index every time a new document gets published. Any more questions? Yep.
Can I? Just a question.
So-
About the, sorry.
After him you can. After him you can.
Thanks. You mentioned earlier about enriching the content with metadata and prioritizing some of the elements to improve the search. So could you give us a bit more information on which elements you prioritize and which metadata you're using to actually improve the search results?
All right. So this is very contextual to the project you are working in, because we develop an ontology mapping for all products. So whenever we get a project, we build an ontology map, and in that ontology map, we identify the syntaxes that are commonly used. So if you are working for a hardware company, then you will have the product names, part number, etc. as the most important metadata that you would like to use. If you're working in the financial domain or regulatory compliance, then you will have the clause numbers, clauses, and all that. So you'll have to use the categories and then index terms. Then also glossary has very high importance, like high score in the rating system for the LLMs. So because in regulatory compliance, we heavily use glossaries. So we have hundreds and thousands of pages of glossaries itself, and we can always put the scoring in that. And these things all can be achieved using XSLT, because you just write the script and XSLT script, and you replace or you just update your content with those attribute values and the tags that you need in the content.
So you develop the ontology first?
Yes. So it will be ontology and taxonomy. So it's more like terminology building that you have to go with. for implementing this intent-based content.
Actually, my question is exactly the one that the person before put it. But as regards, did you ever did some comparison between before creation of the map and previously, in regards to how it reduces the amount of hallucination or incorrect information provided?
Yes,
Do you have some
yes, certainly.
numbers about that?
Yes, we have done that. So the previous output that we were receiving was more like just the listing of the topics, and that was not really fetching correct answers. So then we came to the conclusion that it's better to create a modular approach that DITA already offers, and kind of develop the ontology-based indexing system, so that you exactly know that under what category what falls, and then you can build your LLM on top of that. So that this thing is very in a synchronous way, so that whenever the new content gets ingested, the LLM trains itself easily. Yeah, so,
One question, you were just searching for data governance, right?
yeah.
I think you have some ominous chunking in there that keeps them together. Why did you land on the parent topic?
All right.
It should take you to the child, right?
Yes, so as I said, the most, we have got a rating system for the content. So when I say what, how, and all that kind of queries I have for the LLM, for the chatbot, then it figures out that what would be the most appropriate step for the end user. Because right now, my AI is considering me as a expert user who doesn't want to know the data governance on all that stuff, but I may be looking for this step. So as I said, it is more of an intent-based content. It is not a Google problem that we are trying to create for the end user, but we are trying to go with the exact how-tos, and you can always extend this. This is just a prototype we are having, but you can always extend it to more than how-tos. You can even ask simple questions like, where do I use this, or what are the important points I should consider while performing these steps. So it will understand your query, and it will only provide you those important points rather than the entire steps. So this part we are kind of, as a prototype, we have very limited information available right now. That's why we are getting that. Yes, Ron.
I'm curious about how you are interpreting intent from the user question. Is there a natural language processing going in to extract intents from the question? Because your question about governance didn't seem to be a task-related sort of question, but it interpreted it as a task.
Yeah.
Is there logic behind breaking down the prompt into intents?
Yes. So there is a logic behind this breaking down this prompt. So, and as I said, this particular content is not for layman user, but for the users who are more prone to working with these kind of stuff. So it will never give you information like which is very conceptual information, just for the kind of good to know kind of information. It will not give you that. So our logic work on the subject-verb agreement, and then it works on the part of speech, and then it breaks down, it builds its own logic, and in that logic it just goes and checks what all information set is there which fulfills these keywords and index terms. So based on that, then it relates to the categories and then retrieves all that information for you. So it builds its own comprehension and then brings it to you. Any more questions? All right then. Thank you for your time.